Broadcasting live from Mulcahy Stadium here in Anchorage, Alaska. It's the Matsu Miners visiting the Anchorage Bucs. The Miners coming in today with a record of 25-16, 2 games up on the Bucs at 22-17. The Miners looking to avenge a loss at Herman Brothers Field yesterday where they fell 8-2. We'll run through the starting lineup for your Matsu Miners. Out of UC Davis, leading things off is Caleb Van Blake, batting second. Out of Oral Roberts University, Spencer Henson. From Grand Canyon University, batting third is Kona Quiggle. Batting fourth out of Gonzaga, Nick Brooks. Batting fifth from Texas A&M is Aaron Walters. Batting sixth from Southeast Missouri, Danny Wright. From Gonzaga, batting seventh, Austin Pinarini. Batting eighth, Drew Swift from Arizona State. And batting ninth from the University of Nevada, Reno, is Tyler Bassetti. On the mound for the Matsu Miners is Ian Churchill out of Santa Barbara City College. And on the mounds for the Anchorage Bucs is Grant Cox out of Louisiana Lafayette University. Caleb Van Blake's about ready to stand in, and it's time for Matsu Miners baseball. Grant Cox on the windup. First pitch misses high for ball one. Van Blake on the season batting .284, has 23 hits and 81 at-bats, 12 RBIs, 10 walks, and 11 strikeouts. As he swings through this one, count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Miners looking to hit their groove as it is the last 3 games in the regular season for them, all coming against the Bucs. This pitch misses inside, 2 balls and 1 strike now, with nobody out here in the top of the first inning. Caleb Van Blake, Spencer Henson, and Kona Quiggle all due up. Cox's pitch is swung on and lifted deep out into right field, but that goes foul and over into the Miners bullpen. Van Blake also getting on base at a nice clip at .427. So doing his job as a leadoff batter. As Cox on the windup, he's ready and deals. Swung on, line drive out into right field, but moving over near the foul line is Jace Vanderbreak for the first out. And with that, we'll run through the starting defense for the Anchorage Bucs. Malone is out in left field, Brennan Bro in center, Jace Vanderbreak in right, J.C. Correa, the man at third base, Dimitri Calaccio at short, Tanner Treadaway at second, and Jake Veith is the man at first. The battery mates Garrett Cox on the mound and Castro behind the plate. Standing in now, Spencer Henson, as he takes the first pitch on the outside corner for strike one. Henson batting .348, has 32 RBIs. That leads the ABL. Also leads the ABL with 7 home runs. As the 0-1 from Cox is just a bit outside. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out here in the top of the first inning.
And the Miners bats have to get going early today if they want a chance to beat the Bucs here in Mulcahy.
1-1. Swung on and fouled straight down. 1-2 the count into Spencer Henson. Then you're right, the bats do need to get going. Only 2 hits in yesterday's game. As Grant Cox is ahead of the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out to Spencer Henson. From the windup, he deals. Swung on, and this is popped up behind us here at the press box at Mulcahy Stadium and out of play.
Those 2 hits were only the second time this season Miners have been 2 hit, which is the lowest amount that they've been allowed hit-wise in a ball game.
No one coming against the Chinooks earlier on in the season. As the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out to Spencer Henson. Grant Cox's pitch. Swung on, line drive right back up the middle for a base hit. Henson with his first hit of the day and first since the doubleheader. That took place on Sunday.
And that had to feel good for Spencer Henson. Struggled mightily at the plate yesterday, but already getting going very fast with that first hit in his first at-bat.
And Henson, he drove the ball yesterday, but just could not find a hole. Went 0 for 4. Lowered his batting average to .348, or was at .359 entering yesterday. But now back above .350 with that single. And now Kona Quiggle, a lefty-on-lefty matchup. First pitch swinging. He lines this one out into the gap in right center field, but moving on and Kona Quiggle's hit as he will sit down now, and Nick Brooks comes to the plate.
and the ball just normally doesn't travel well here at Mulcahy, so expect a lot of flyouts.
Nick Brooks on his short season, 11 hits and 38 at-bats, batting .289, has 6 RBIs, 5 walks, and has struck out 9 times. Getting on base, though, at a good clip as well at 400, as the first pitch from Cox is taken outside for ball 1. Umpiring crew today, Nate DeSantis is the man at third base. Behind home plate is Silas Drayden, and Brad Polk is over at first. 1-0 count to Nick Brooks, as Brooks had one of the 2 hits in yesterday's game, as the 1-0 misses low and inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Another thing to keep of note, Troy Clounch was a starting catcher in yesterday's game, and now starting catching is Jacob Castro. Clounch, of course, got hit in the head on a fastball. So we'll see if he enters today's game, if he's feeling all right, or just taking the day off precautionary, as Nick Brooks swings and fouls this one back to his right side and out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 away here in the top of the first inning.
And that head injury is definitely something you don't want to mess with, especially with a big-time playoff run and late season surge that the Bucs are trying to make to get that first place over these Miners. But it'll definitely be a huge loss in the batting order.
2-1 the count. Grant Cox, 2. Brooks is swung on and missed for strike 2. For Nick Brooks, already has a couple extra base hits. 11 hits on the season, 3 of them have some power. 2 doubles and 1 home run for Brooks on his short season, as a 2-2 from Cox is on the way. Swung on, a little chopper over towards the line on third base, but that goes foul. 2-2 the count remains. Miners went on the road. They're 2 games under 500 at 9-11. The Bucs at home, 14-5, second best in the ABL. Only 2 of the Miners, who are 16-5 at home. Is a route ready for the 2-2 count. The pitch from Cox. Breaking ball that misses outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away here in the top of the first inning. No score between the Mat-Su Miners and the Anchorage Bucs. Should Nick Brooks continue this inning, Aaron Walters standing on deck.
Real nice at bat here from Brooks. Way to work Cox here in this first inning of play.
Payoff pitch, swung on and found straight back into the leg of Nick Brooks as he hobbles off. Will walk it off. Spencer Henson was in motion. As for Henson, does not have a stolen base on the season, but has been thrown out once. Of course, he's in motion anyway here with the count sitting at 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. Grant Cox on the season, he's 0 for 1, a 1.78 ERA in 4 games started. 31/3 of an innings pitched, 23 strikeouts to 15 walks, and has allowed 22 hits. As a payoff pitch from Grant Cox, swung on and missed, strike 3. Brooks takes a knee as he was swinging out of his shoes. That's the 3rd out here in the top of the first inning. No score between the Mat-Su Miners and the Anchorage Bucs. 1 hit thanks to Spencer Henson, as we will return. It's the Miners nothing, Bucs coming to the plate in the bottom of the first. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the first inning. Ian Churchill toes the rubber as he's about ready to search for his sixth win. ABL leading as he is 5-0 on the season. A tall task to go against the second place Anchorage Bucs, and we'll run through their starting lineup. For the Bucs, leading off, Willie Escala out of University of Miami. Batting second from Gonzaga University, Jake Veith. Batting third out of Lamar University, J.C. Correa. From the University of Oklahoma, batting fourth is Tanner Treadaway. Batting fifth from Oregon State University, Tyler Malone. Batting sixth from Louisiana Lafayette University, Brennan Bro. From Gonzaga University, batting seventh is Jason Vanderbrake. Batting eighth, Jacob Castro out of UC Irvine. And rounding things out at the bottom, Dimitri Calaccio out of the University of Utah. The Anchorage Bucs are coached by Ken Hokoff, assistant coach Eric Hunting, and also assistant coach Grant Palmer. Churchill's done with the warm-ups, and he's about ready to get things started on the season for Ian Churchill. A perfect record of 5-0, a 2.01 ERA in 4 games started, 31 and 1/3 of an innings pitched, has 31 strikeouts to 7 walks, and has given up 20 hits. Willie Escala stands in at the box as the bottom of the first is about ready to get started. Churchill pitching from the windup. He's ready and deals. This one sails inside for ball one. Willie Escala, Jake Veith, and J.C. Correa all due up here in the bottom of the first inning. And for Escala, batting .252 as 1-0 is pitched and swung on. A pop-up over in foul territory. Spencer Henson ranging over and makes one-hand grab for the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. 2 pitches, 1 out for Ian Churchill. Churchill out of Santa Barbara City College. As now Jake Veith will stand in. Veith is the best in batting average so far in the ABL with a .365, 42 hits and 115 at-bats. His second on RBIs at 29, has 18 walks, and has struck out 29 times as the first pitch misses for a ball, 1-0. Churchill's second pitch, it's a breaking ball that bounces in the opposite batter's box. 2 balls and no strikes with 1 out near the bottom of the first inning to the most dangerous bat in the Bucs lineup in Jake Veith.
Veith just really seeing the ball well this season yet again for the Anchorage Bucs. Gonna be interesting to see how the Miners attack him today.
Churchill set and ready. This one is swung on and popped up into shallow center field. Ranging in is the center fielder Kona Quiggle, who makes one-hand grab. That's the second out here in the bottom of the first inning, and we'll run through the defense for the Matsu Miners. Danny Wright is in left field. Kona Quiggle in center. Nick Brooks is in right field. Tyler Bassetti's man at third. Drew Swift at short. Caleb Van Blake starting at second base, and Spencer Henson is at first. Ian Churchill on the mound, and Austin Pianarini behind the plate. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning, and now J.C. Correa will stand in. He takes a breaking ball in for a called strike. 0-1. No on the count. Churchill's pitch. Checked his swing, but that'll be called a ball. The check down to Brad Polk. Did he go? He did not. Count remains 1 ball and 1 strike. Rain is coming down here at Mulcahy Stadium as this pitch is lined out into right center field. Kona Quiggle will circle around it and cut it off before it hits the outfield wall. It's a 2-out single for J.C. Correa in the bottom of the first inning. Miners and Bucs are tied with 1 hit, as there is no score between these 2 teams. And with that, J.C. Correa on first, Tanner Treadaway now at the plate.
And the rain will be coming down, but since it is a turf surface, you'll play through it a little more rather than a natural surface that you may have to call a game because the infield dirt's a little too muddy.
Turf definitely helps things out here at Mulcahy Stadium as Churchill pitching from the stretch for the first time on the day. The lefty to the righty. First pitch hits the outside corner for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike with 2 away here in the bottom of the first inning. For Tanner Treadaway, 121 at-bats, has 11 walks, and has struck out 23 times, as the 0-1 is taken high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. It is a count to Tanner Treadaway. 1-1 the count, runner on first base. Churchill's pitch swung on and missed by Treadaway. 1-2. In the ABL standings right now, Miners are at the top, 25-16. Anchorage Bucs sitting at 22-17, 2 games back. The Oilers 19-19, 4.5 back, and the Anchorage Glacier Pilots 15-20, 7.5 back. And at the bottom is the Chugach Eagle River Chinook sitting at 16-22, 8.5 back. The 1-2 pitch, fastball that misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Tanner Treadaway.
Ian Churchill, a guy that will command the zone more times than not against hitters. Whether there will be a strikeout or not, expect a heavy dose of strikes.
Heavy dose indeed, as he's only walked 7 batters, as this one is swung on a miss, strike 3. The bottom of the first inning has been put to rest. 1 hit for the Anchorage Bucs, but not much else going on. After 1, no score between the Mat-Su Miners and Anchorage Bucs, as you're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hi guys, Drew Swift.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
A&M University. This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
It's the time for the second inning. No score between the Mat-Su Miners and Anchorage Bucs. Aaron Walters will lead things off. Here in the top of the second, it'll be Walters, Danny Wright, and Austin Pianarini. The 5, 6, and 7 batters in the Miners order. For Aaron Walters yesterday, did not have a hit in the game as he went 0 for 3. So now he'll be in search for his first hit today. Swinging at first pitch and hitting this one deep out into right field. Moving back towards the wall is Jace Vandenbrink leaping. And did he rob that? Yes, he did. Jace Vandenbrink robs Aaron Walters of his first home run of the season. Walters gave it a drive deep out into right field. Jace Vandenbrink takes that away.
Call the cops. That's highway robbery right there. Vandenbrink getting up to catch that home run. It seemed like a guaranteed home run off the bat of Walters, but as we said, not a lot of balls travel here, and Vandenbrink was helped out with that and took advantage of it.
Aaron Walters robbed of a home run, as now the first pitch into Danny Wright is good for a called strike. For Walters, 9 doubles, 1 triple, no home runs. That would have been his first, as the 0-1 to right is swung on and fouled off right side and out of play. So tremendous defense from the Bucs outfield over the past 2 games. Left fielder in yesterday's game, Daniel Fredrickson, robbed a couple hits from Spencer Henson and Aaron Walters, and now Jace Vandenbrink does the same here today. 0-2 count. This pitch misses low for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top of the second inning. To the Miners and Bucs. Fastball misses low again to Danny Wright. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wright on the season, batting .258, 25 hits and 97 at-bats. As the 2-2 is on the way, swung on, and a high bouncing ball off home plate. Danny Wright charging over at first, and he is thrown out by the third baseman, J.C. Correa. That ball had some airtime, but it bounced right off the rubber home plate at home.
Yeah, I tell you what, back-to-back interesting plays, a home run robbery, and then that sky of a ground ball. And you'll see that with this turf field, the big hops, true hops, but they can be big right there. Danny Wright almost running out.
Lefty on lefty matchup between Grant Cox and Austin Pianarini as he's first pitch swinging and fouls it towards the left side and out of play. 0-1 the count to Austin Pianarini. And for Pino, had the first RBI in the game yesterday, drove in Tyler Basse with an RBI single. A lead the Miners obviously did not hold. They lost 8-2. 0-1 count, the pitch from Cox. Misses low and inside, 1-1. For Pino, batting .279, 31 hits and 111 at-bats. Has 26 RBIs, good for third in the ABL. 11 walks to 16 strikeouts as he swings and pops this one up into shortstop position. Calaccio ranges under it, makes a two-hand catch, and the side is retired. 1-2-3 inning for Grant Cox here in the top of the second as the Anchorage Bucs will come to bat in the bottom of the second. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Ian Churchill, a couple warm-up pitches here in the bottom of the second, the throw down, and we're about ready to get things started. Tyler Malone, Brennan Bro, and Jace Vandenbrake all due up in the inning. Tyler Malone, a 103 average, 4 hits and 39 at-bats, 4 RBIs, 9 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Has also come across to score 4 times as well as he takes an off-speed pitch for a called strike, 0-1. Malone does have a double on the season in his only extra base hit. The 0-1 is delivered, misses outside, 1-1. As we mentioned, Ian Churchill, a perfect record of 5-0. That's on the line here against the second place Anchorage Bucs. As now the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tyler Malone after the foul ball. Infield playing Malone back. Outfield straight away. The pitch is swung on, line drive out into left field, but slicing foul and into the bleachers.
Already it seems like we may have another pitcher's duel at hand like we saw yesterday throughout the first 5 innings of play.
1-2 the count. Churchill pitching from the windup. He's ready and deals. Swung on and another foul ball from Tyler Malone. 1-2 the count remains. Malone staying in there against Churchill. As again from the windup, he's ready and deals. Swung on, ground ball over towards short. Drew Swift charging, has it, throws high, but in time for the out. Drew Swift, he's got his defense back here today as he throws out Tyler Malone.
And Swift and today noticed he was the first one out on the defense for BP, wanting to get those extra reps in to get back in his groove. Struggling just a tad yesterday, but much like any everyday player does, he'll shake it off.
Swift 2 errors yesterday, uncharacteristic, but errors will happen. So is baseball. As now a lefty-on-lefty matchup between Ian Churchill and Brennan Bro. First pitch is good for a called strike, 0-1. Bro batting .225, has 14 RBIs, 20 walks and 27 strikeouts as the 0-1 is delivered just a bit inside. Burrow also does have hits, 4 doubles, 3 triples, and has a home run. As now the off-speed misses outside this time, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Churchill, rarely to see him behind in counts, so expect him to try to come back right here.
Churchill's ready, and he deals a 2-1. Swung on, a bouncing ball over towards first. Ian Churchill kind of delayed, trying to get to first, but Spencer Henson will take it himself. It's a first base unassisted. And not sure if Churchill just slipped off the mound or what might have happened. Usually you see the pitcher cover at first anytime there's a ground ball towards the right side, but Henson, lucky enough for him, was able to charge over and take it himself.
Yeah, it was a hot shot, so Henson definitely had some time, and all he has to do is run through the bag.
First pitch now into Jace Vanderbeek, misses low and away, and for Vanderbeek just came away from making a tremendous catch out in right field, robbing Aaron Walters of his first home run of the season, as this game remains scoreless between the Miners and the Bucs. Fastball missed high and inside. Ian Churchill takes a breath off the mound, and you got to wonder if the weather's kind of playing a factor here.
Yeah, it seemed like the ball slipped out of his hand just a tad, though, but every single player has to deal with the rain. Ian Churchill has to realize that and adjust to the climate.
Vanderbeek had a hit in yesterday's game as he watches this off-speed go in for a called strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, now the count with 2 away here in the bottom of the second inning. Vanderbeek's hit, also good for 2 RBIs. As now the 2-1 is delivered just outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Churchill again doesn't walk anybody, 31 strikeouts to 7 walks. Already has a strikeout in today's game. As a 3-1 taken on the outside corner for a strike 2 called. 3-2 the count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning.
Some nice pitching here from Ian Churchill after falling behind, really trying to work possibly a strikeout.
Shake off from Pianarini. Now he's ready. The 3-2. Swung on, hot shot right to shortstop Drew Swift, who makes the catch on a little bit of a run. As that's the third out, the first 1-2-3 inning for Ian Churchill here in the bottom of the second. This game has progressed into the top of the third, scoreless between the Mat-Su Miners and the Anchorage Bucs.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Drew Swift, infielder from Arizona State University, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
Top of the third inning here at Mulcahy Stadium between the Mat-Su Miners and the Anchorage Bucs. Connor Mills, Brad Walker with you. As the throwdown has been made by Jason Castro, and we're about ready to begin the top of the third. Drew Swift will lead things off. It'll be Swift, Tyler Bassetti, and Caleb Van Blake all due up. Swift did not have a hit in yesterday's game, as he had a sacrifice bunt, flew out to right field, and walked in the 7th inning as he's first pitch swinging, and this one goes down into right center field, but Jace Vanderbeek, my oh my, he is having himself a defensive day, leaping into right center field, makes the catch behind the shoestrings, as Drew Swift is robbed of an extra base hit. First out here in the top of the third.
Someone check that man's glove to see if there's a magnet in it, because balls are just attracting to it with no problem. Jace Vandenbrake, give him the gold glove for today, and it's only been 2 innings.
Top of the third is now Tyler Bassetti. Stands in. He takes a ball from Grant Cox. For Bassetti, batting .252. He was the Matsu Miners star of the game yesterday with 3 walks, as he's now in jam job. Flares this one out into right center field. Center fielder Brandon Bro has it, makes a one-hand catch, and that's the second out. Bassetti getting on base 3 out of 4 in yesterday's game, in a game where not a lot of Miners did get on base.
No, not at all. The bats struggled from the plate, but already a lot of aggressive hacks from the Miners tonight. They look to change that.
Caleb Van Blake stands in his second at-bat of the day as he watches one go by, low and away for ball 1. Van Blake in yesterday's game did not have a hit. Flew out to right field, struck out twice, and flew out to left field. As now this one has popped up into left field, shallow left field. Tyler Malone ranging in, makes a one-hand grab, and the side is retired. Miners go quietly here in the top of the third inning. 1-2-3, as this one is going into the bottom of the third. No score between the Matsu Miners and Anchorage Bucs, as you're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Bottom of the third inning, no score between the Miners and the Bucs. As now number 24, Jacob Castro, will stand in, the left-handed batter and the catcher of today's game. Again, Castro came in for defensive purposes in the bottom of the ninth inning at Herman Brothers yesterday as he replaced Troy Klausch. Klausch, who got hit in the head on a fastball, he was out of today's game, as we hope he's all right, and hopefully it's just for precautionary reasons, as the Bucs are loaded with games this week. Miners yesterday, Chinooks tomorrow, Miners today, and then Miners again. As the first pitch was in for a called strike, this one is fouled off towards the left side. 0-2 goes the count to Jacob Castro, who's only batting .042, 1 hit in 24 at-bats. Off-speed pitch is blocked nicely by Austin Pianarini. 1-2 the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third inning. No score between the Miners and the Bucs. For the Miners pitching staff, they still rank second in ERA with a 2.88, as a 1-2 is taken just inside ball 2. Strikeouts is one category where they still do lead. The Miners pitching staff has struck out the most with 318, as this one is fouled off and straight back over Mulcahy. 2-2 the count remains. The Miners unfortunately do not rank well in walks. They're at the bottom of the ABL with 157 as a 2-2 is swung on, and this one is hit towards Spencer Henson on a hop, ranging over towards third. He'll take it himself again. A first base unassisted retires Jacob Castro for the first out here in the bottom of the third inning.
And it seems like Ian Churchill struggling to get off the mound today. That's now the second time. This one a little close call compared to the first. Nevertheless, Churchill will have to keep that in the back of his mind in case any balls go towards Spencer
Palacio now still 22 for 86, batting .256, has 9 RBIs, walked 3 times, and struck out 14. As the first pitch into him for me and Churchill is an off-speed pitch that misses for a ball. Outfield playing Calaccio straight away. Infield, everybody's back besides the third baseman Tyler Bassetti, who's playing even with the base. As this one is swung on and a hot shot foul towards the left side.
Quickly turning on that run, but had to wait about a half a second or out, and that would have been put in play.
Calaccio, good batting average at .256, so we'll see what happens as he swings through this changeup. 1-2 is the count. Churchill had his first 1-2-3 inning in the second inning, had a 1-2-3-4 inning back in the first as we're here in the bottom of the third inning. Only one hit between the Miners and the Bucs as the 1-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3. Ian Churchill, his second strikeout of the day, as now there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the third.
Churchill just really dealing much like Grant Cox is for the Bucs. So it's whatever team can break out first may be the team to win.
And again, this is almost a showcase for both teams, as the Miners and Bucs project to be the 1 and 2 seed. Either way, whatever that goes, as now Willie Escala stands in. First pitch to Escala misses low and in for ball 1. Postseason's right around the corner. And for the Miners, everybody's trying to solidify their spot in the lineup.
Yeah, they definitely are, and they really want that one spot for home field advantage.
As the second pitch misses low and inside again, 2 balls and no strikes.
Much like the Bucs, who are good at home as well and have played most of their games here at Mulcahy, considering one of the other teams in the league play here for their home games as well.
2-0 the count. The off-speed pitch misses high and outside. 3 straight balls from Ian Churchill to Willie Escala. And Escala in his first at-bat, he flew out in foul territory to Spencer Henson to start this game off. Churchill going to have to dial back and find the strike zone here. The 3-0 taken inside, ball 4. The first walk allowed for Churchill on the day, as now a 2-out walk puts Escala on base and Jake Veith to the plate.
Churchill's only his 8th walk of the season, so a guy that doesn't miss much, but unfortunately struggled there. That's going to bring up a tough out now in Jake Veith. So Ian Churchill going to see what he's made of.
Veith did fly out to center field his last time up, as Churchill will have to search and find a way to get Jake Veith out. Always a dangerous hitter no matter where runners are on base. The check over to Escala is not in time, as Jake Veith again flew out to center his first time up. Still batting just a tad under .365 now, as first pitch into him hits the outside corner. 0-1. Veith, 14 doubles, 1 triple, and 6 home runs. Trailing by 1 to Spencer Henson, who leads the league with 7. The 0-1 is taken inside, right inside on the hands for a ball. 1-1 the count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. No score between the Miners and Bucs. There's a runner on first in Willie Escala, and Jake Veith, who has 29 RBIs on the season, is at the plate. 1-1 the count. The pitch swung on, fouled off towards the left side. That goes out of play. 1-2 now the count from Ian Churchill to Jake Veith.
And that shows off the power from Veith. Scoop that ball from the bottom of the zone and sent it over the wall in the opposite field. Luckily for the Miners, it was well foul.
The Bucs on a 7-game winning streak, 8-2 over the last 10. As they look to continue that here. The 1-2 swung on and fouled off. On the move was Willie Escala. He'll have to go back. 1-2 the count remains, and Ian Churchill in the back of his mind will know Escala's on the run.
Yeah, but he just has to focus on Jake Veith here. There is 2 outs and also 2 strikes, so your main focus is on the batter, not the runner.
1-2 the count. 2 outs, bottom of the third inning. Ian Churchill pitching from the stretch as time will be called by Veith at the plate. Veith in yesterday's game went 2 for 4 with no RBIs. As the 1-2 is going to be a check over to Willie Escala, who was back standing. Veith was also intentionally walked one time, as that brought his walk total up to 18. Churchill looking to get out of the bottom of the third inning, as a 1-2 is off the plate for ball 2. A close off-speed pitch from Ian Churchill just missed the outside corner.
None of the Miners defensemen believing it, all looking at each other, asking where it was.
Drew Swift over near second base as the 2-2 is delivered, swung on. It's a high pop-up to Drew Swift right behind second. He eyes it up. The 2-2 is caught for the third out here in the bottom of the third inning. It's the Miners nothing, the Bucs nothing. We'll throw it over to Brad Walker for the fourth, fifth, and sixth innings. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey, y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately, so does something else: childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer Henson, infielder at Oral Roberts University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
We enter into the fourth inning. We have no score between the top two teams in the Alaska Baseball League, the Matsu Miners and the Anchorage Bucs. Due up for the Miners in the fourth inning is Spencer Henson, Kona Quiggle, and Nick Brooks as Grant Cox works into the fourth inning. Cox pitching quite well today, only allowing that one hit back in the first inning, as the only other hit allowed in the game was by Ian Churchill in the first inning as well. As Cox has pitched well in his past 9 innings coming into tonight, he's only allowed 1 run, and in his last relief appearance was 2 innings on July 18th against the Chinooks, which was scoreless and only allowed a hit. So he'll be facing the right-handed hitting Spencer Henson, who is 1 for 1 tonight after going 0 for 4 yesterday, only the 7th time Spencer was no hit, and that's the 3rd time that it's happened against the Anchorage Bucs. So he takes a fastball high and away for ball 1. 1-0 with nobody out to begin this 4th inning of play. Henson standing in from the right side with that open stance. Cox is 1-0. This is a grounder over to shortstop. Calacio's throw to first in time for out number 1. Spencer Henson retired, and that'll bring up Kona Quiggle with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. Kona flew out to the right fielder Van de Break back in the first inning. Was not a highlight play like we've seen Van de Break make most of the night, as Kona Quiggle's 8-game hit streak came to an end last night against the Anchorage Bucs. As he looks at a ball low and inside from Grant Cox, count is now 1-0.
And this is really just a good Anchorage Bucs pitching staff. As a total ERA 2.33, pretty impressive.
And it really is, as Cox misses low and away with that pitch. And over the past week, they have a .50 ERA and have only allowed 5 runs in the past 7 games. Kona Quiggle squares run up, and it heads deep into right center field. Moving back is Bro. He calls off Van de Break and makes the catch for out number 2. So Kona Quiggle is retired for the 2nd out in the top of the 4th inning. Nick Brooks will now step up to the dish for the Matsu Miners, as Grant Cox has now retired 8 Matsu players in a row. Brooks struck out in his first at-bat back in the first inning. That is the 10th time that Nick Brooks has struck out this season. With 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning, Grant Cox misses high and away to Nick Brooks, as Brooks has had a hit in both games against the Anchorage Bucs, has gathered adding 2 hits and bats. So Cox from the wind, his pitch. It misses high to Nick Brooks, 2-0.
And pitchers always pitch carefully to Nick Brooks. They don't want to miss over the plate at all. They want to nip the corners and try and dance around it because Brooks can make them pay.
So Cox from the wind, he misses high and away to Nick Brooks. The count is now 3-0. So Brooks, a guy that Cox retired on strikeouts, has now thrown 3 straight balls. And the Miners looking to extend this visiting half of the 4th inning, have no runs have come across. Cox's 3-0 offering. This barely nails the lower outside corner to the right-handed hitting Brooks. So Cox, this is his second appearance against the Miners. In that one lone appearance, he went 3 2/3, allowed 1 run on 5 hits and struck out 3. So currently Nick Brooks sits in a hitter's count with 2 outs. The 3-1 misses high. So Nick Brooks is on board with a walk here in the top of the 4th inning. And now looking very similar are the scorecards for this ball game. That's the first walk issued by Grant Cox, 16th on the season. Aaron Walters steps up to the dish, and if you would have looked initially at his first at-bat, it looked like it was going to be a home run, but then Jace Vandenbrink scaled the wall and made the catch. So that went down as an F9 as Walter stands in with 2 outs. He sends one back into right field. Vandenbrink looking at it. He's back at the track and under it, makes the catch for out number 3. So Aaron Walters with a loud out ends the top of the 4th inning. We've yet to see any runs come across between the Miners and the Bucs, and we'll be right back on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Ian Churchill still on the mound for the Matsu Miners. He enters his 4th inning of work as we've yet to see a score between the Bucs and the Miners. The top 2 teams in the ABL, and one of the hottest teams arguably is the Anchorage Bucs, who have won 7 games in a row, as their last loss did come at the hands of the Miners. So they look to make their next loss as well. But currently, we have yet to see any runs. J.C. Correa will get things going here in the 4th inning for the Anchorage Bucs. Churchill from the wind. He will miss low and inside to the right-handed hitting J.C. Correa. So a little lefty on righty matchup to begin the home half of the 4th inning. Churchill's 1-0 delivery. This misses low and away to Correa. Correa coming into tonight batting .273. That will be increased as he had a base hit in the 1st inning and now a hit streak of 8 games. So this 2-0 is flared out into right field. Moving back is Nick Brooks to the warning track. He makes the running grab for out number 1. As that is now the 12th flyout of the game. We mentioned flyouts are a hot commodity here at Mulcahy Stadium. Over half of the outs coming that way. Just the ball really not traveling due to the wind normally blowing in a little bit from the right side and heading behind us here to the left in the press box.
Well, if anything, we see home runs go out towards left field, but I don't remember any going out there as of recent, especially not today with cold temperatures and the wind just blowing in.
As we're sitting at a brisk 60 degrees with some slight rain and all cloud coverage here in Anchorage today. Ian Churchill with the strike on the inside portion of the plate to Tanner Treadaway, who bats from the right side of the dish out of the Oklahoma commit, I should say, out of Seminole State Community College in Oklahoma. He'll take an inside fastball. He's now down on the count 0-2. Treadaway struck out back in the first inning. That's the 24th time Treadaway has been retired on strikes this season. And Churchill trying to make it 25 as he's ahead in the count. His pitch, Treadaway fouls it off and over to the right side. So no score between the Miners and the Bucs here in Mulcahy Stadium as another battle of the top two teams as the Miners' final 4 games of the season are against this Anchorage Bucs team. As Treadaway, once again, a jam job, hits it foul over to the right side and out of play, so we'll stay 0-2. The Bucs got the win last night, and it was really dominating fashion. Not through the first few parts of the game. The last 4 innings, the Bucs scored all of their 8 runs to go into victory 8-2. Churchill ahead in the count 0-2, winds and fires. This one is fouled straight back to the backstop. So Ian Churchill working for his 34th strikeout on the season right now, as he has already had 2 tonight. The wins leader in the ABL trying to will his Miners squad to victory today. Churchill is 0-2 yet again, fouled back. Tanner Treadaway doing a wonderful job of staying alive in this at-bat. Treadaway with 27 hits this season. Also a .271 on base percentage. So really trying to turn things around as he went 0 for 4 with an RBI last night. And that's the second time in 4 games Mr. Treadaway has not had a hit. Churchill, his 0-2 pitch. This misses inside. Treadaway bounces out of the way of it. So the count goes to 1 balls and 2 strikes with 1 down in the bottom of the 4th inning.
And after the balls were being fouled off by Treadaway left and right, Churchill had to throw a ball somewhere to try to get him to chase.
So Churchill winds and offers this pitch and misses high. So the count is now tied up at 2 to Tanner Treadaway. The 6-foot second baseman out of Justin, Texas. So Churchill gives Pinarini the go. His 2-2 pitch swung and missed by Tanner Treadaway. So Ian Churchill wins this battle at the dish, and there is 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning as Ian Churchill has recorded 3 strikeouts tonight.
Churchill just doing a nice job, and he's doing his job, going deep into the game, retiring Bucs batters, and not getting himself into any sticky situations.
2 outs, bottom of the 4th inning. Tyler Malone steps in from the left side of the dish. Malone, who looks at a strike on the inside portion of the plate. The count's now 0-1. The next pitch from Churchill nails the lower outside corner. 0-2. Churchill seems to be a little confused on that strike call. Maybe it was called a ball earlier, but nevertheless, he's ahead in the count 0-2, working quickly. His pitch lined right back up the middle. That'll be a 2-out base hit for Tyler Malone, who now has 3 hits in his past 2 games, as he came into yesterday's ball game against the Miners with only 1 hit all season long, but then going 2 for 4 and already 1 of 2 tonight. He keeps his hitting success going against this Mat-Su team. So with a runner on first and 2 outs, Brendan Bro will step to the dish. He grounded to Spencer Henson back in the 2nd inning, as Bro is now 27 of 121 on the season. And against the Miners is 7 of 25. First pitch into Bro misses low and away for a ball 1-0. So that's back-to-back innings that the Bucs have put on a base runner with 2 outs. Last inning, Ian Churchill worked his way out of it, getting a fly out from Jake Feith. So working from the stretch, he'll look to do a similar idea. Churchill kicks and deals. This fastball misses high and away, and that'll call time as Austin Pinarini will want to have a chat with Ian Churchill.
Well, getting Jake Feith out 2 times now, it's got to boost the confidence of Ian Churchill and just allow him, if he can get Feith out, he can get anybody out.
Ian Churchill, who's seeing a lot of lefties, is very confident against left-handed hitters, and he'll need to be today as we're sitting in a pitcher's duel yet again, very similar to what we saw yesterday, as today we have no score between the Miners and Bucs. Meeting adjourned, and Ian Churchill comes set from his chest 2-0 pitch, fastball that is up in the zone, 2-1. Currently, the season series is all tied up at 4, with the Bucs winning the last game, and these two teams have split the last two matchups. And the Miners are only 1-3. So Churchill is fouled off to the left side as Malone was on the move. Malone has yet to steal a bag this season, but we noticed this last inning as well with Escala on first trying to get a possible hit and run situation moving, as runs are coming at a premium in this ball game. So after a long wait outside the box, Brennan Bro takes a deep breath and steps back in with a 2-2 count and 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Churchill, he'll check down. Malone, not a big lead at all over at first base, is back in time safely. Bro, with that ground out back in the 1st inning, is now 0 of 9 in his last 2 games against the Miners, as this is only his 4th game played against Matsu. So Churchill comes ready. His 2-2 pitch. Fastball up in the zone yet again for strike 3. Ian Churchill strikes out, gets 2 strikeouts this inning out of the 3 outs. And we're still scoreless as we move into the 5th inning on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is David Avitia from Grand Canyon University. I'm a catcher, and this is Matsu Miners Baseball.
The Bucs get a hit in the bottom of the 4th inning, but they leave a runner stranded, and we have still yet to see any runs come across as we enter the 5th inning. Wright, Pinarini, and Swift do up for the Miners, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. And we mentioned it is a pitching duel, only 3 hits combined through those 4 innings, and no runs scored, as yesterday through 5 innings we only saw 1 run scored, and then that's when the runs started flowing more so for the Bucs rather than the Miners, as the Bucs outscored the Miners 8-1 in the final 4 innings, and overall in the game outscored them 8-2. Cox's first pitch into Danny Wright is a strike. 0-1. So Danny Wright, the switch hitting left fielder, batting from the right side against the left-handed throwing Cox. Cox's second pitch misses low to Danny Wright, 1-1. So Wright, who grounded out in his first at-bat back in the second inning, did not play in last night's contest and only has 1 hit in his past 3 games played. This one a dribbler that goes foul on the left side. So Danny Wright will have to work from behind, 1-2. Wright out of Southeast Missouri State only has 3 hits against the Anchorage Bucs all season long, but would like to get things going in a positive manner for the Miners to begin this 5th inning. Cox is 1-2. This misses low and in the turf. The count is now squared up at 2 with nobody out in the top of the 5th inning. So Cox from the wind, his pitch. Danny Wright lines it into center field. Moving back is Bro. He won't be able to get to it as it goes off the tip of his glove. Danny Wright racing around first. He'll get into second with a leadoff double here in the top of the 5th inning. The first time tonight the Matsu Miners have their leadoff man aboard, thanks to his 3rd double of the season in Mr. Danny Wright.
Well, not only first runner aboard in a long time, but first man to reach second base in this game. Danny Wright doing a nice job, and just a tough play from Brennan Bro out in center. It hit his glove, but would have been another fantastic play of the Bucs defense. Just didn't go his way.
Danny Wright with his 4th hit against the Anchorage Bucs puts the go-ahead run in scoring position with nobody out in the top of the 5th inning, as it brings the 3rd best RBI man in the ABL to the dish in left-handed hitting, Austin Pinerini. He'll take a ball high from Grant Cox, 1-0. So Cox working out of the stretch, only the 3rd time he's done so in this ball game tonight, as he's been very efficient now, only a 2nd hit allowed. So Cox takes a peek at second, now motions to the plate. He'll miss high. The count is now 2-0.
And with the rain coming down just a little bit harder than it did earlier in the game, you have to look at the pitchers and see if they're missing by a lot or if it's going to affect their throws.
Pinerini, who flew out back in the 2nd inning, he's 0 for 1 today, but has 4 hits in his past 9 at-bats as he takes a strike, 2-1. Going back to that point, partner, that's definitely a huge thing, making sure the grip on the ball is correct. And also, in baseball, if you play 5 innings before the rain starts coming down and they decide to cancel the game, that's all you need. So this 5th inning can be very vital right now between the Bucs and the Miners. So Cox, with a leg kick, will spin around and look Danny right back, as it seemed like we may have had a sight of lightning.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
If not, it was just a photographer with a very bright flash.
It's a truck moving by, right?
Nevertheless, there was no motion that we will stop play, as Cox misses high, 3-1 with nobody out. There was could not hear any thunder, which presumably would mean it is nowhere near us here at Mulcahy Stadium in Anchorage. Hence why it would be safe to play the ball game, as the umpires do not seem to signal anything else. The count's 3-1, nobody out. The pitch fouled straight back by Austin Pinerini. Count is now full.
And it's not like other leagues. This is a wood bat lead, so it's not like the baseball players are carrying around pieces of metal in a lightning storm. So they're a little bit safe down there. I don't think we're safe up here, though.
No, not well. We are indoors. The only problem is we are right next to a window, and there is lights all over the stadium. So got to be careful for the outfielders and the fans in the stands. Nevertheless, Grant Cox, a 3-2 pitch into Austin Pinerini, as he towers it foul behind us in the press box. So Pinerini has now fouled 2 in a row on Grant Cox. Mentioned Pinerini with those 26 RBIs is good for 3rd in the ABL. 5 of those have come against the Anchorage Bucs, as he had an RBI in yesterday's game for the first run of the game for the Miners, as he looks to do the same right now. Tanner Treadaway, a bit of a shift on Pinerini. He's playing well back. Same with Jake Feith over at first base. So Cox kicks and deals a breaking pitch that misses low and in to Pinerini. He'll take his base, as that's the 2nd walk issued tonight by Grant Cox. His 25th on the season, as the Bucs are at the 2nd least issued walks on the season. Coming in this one, 4th in the ABL. Now that totals up to 138. And the Miners walk the 3rd most out of any team in the ABL. Obviously now working that up to 141. For the first pitch to Drew Swift, he bunts it over to the right side. Coming off the mound and making the play is Grant Cox for out number 1. But Drew Swift does put runners on 2nd and 3rd with only 1 out for Tyler Bozetti.
Well, just a nice bunt laid down by Swift. Positioned the bat, stayed on the plane of the ball all the way through, and just let it touch the bat. Gave a little jab, and it made a nice play.
So it really did. So Drew Swift, just like we saw yesterday, had an excellent sac bunt that allowed Pinerini, the 9-hitter, to drive in a run. This time, the 9-hitter today is Tyler Bozetti, as he flew out in his last at-bat, but has a great opportunity to give the Miners the lead as he fouls one back. The score is 0-0, but Austin Pinerini stands on 2nd, and Danny Wright stands on 3rd. Wright got things going in this 5th inning with the double, and Pinerini just walked after working a full count, is standing on 2nd. So 0-1 now is the count with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning, as the Miners have scored 41 runs in the past 7 days, but only 2 yesterday, as Tyler Bozetti takes a strike outside, 0-2.
Well, Bozetti here, he knows he has to put it in play. Can't take a strikeout here, and just has to get a job done for the Miners.
So the Miners looking for their 200th run of the season, could possibly come at the hands of Tyler Bozzetti. This 0-2 pitch is skied into right field, but it'll go out of play into the Miners bullpen over on the right side. So he'll stay alive at 0-2. A sacrifice fly, what all Tyler Bozzetti needs for that 200th run, as Danny Wright stands 90 feet away. Could possibly move Austin into field. So Bozzetti looking for some big-time hitting. He does have a walk-off against this Anchorage Bucs team. Not quite that situation right now, but nevertheless, anytime you can bring in a run in a tie ball game, especially when no runs have been scored, it'll be appreciated. As he swings through a high fastball from Grant Cox, Bozzetti strikes out for the second out of the inning, as Grant Cox has retired the Miners now twice on strikes. Caleb Van Blake will step up to the dish from the left side, so a lefty-on-lefty matchup with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. Miners still with runners on second and third, so crisis hasn't necessarily been averted from Grant Cox. As Caleb Van Blake steps up, does not have a hit yet today, but he flares one just over the shortstop Calaccio. Danny Wright comes in to score. Austin Pinarini beats the throw home, and Caleb Van Blake comes up big time for the Miners in the top of the 5th inning. He delivers a 2 RBI, 2-out single. Caleb Van Blake, who hasn't necessarily been hitting hot of late, gets his first hit in 10 at-bats, and it's a big one with those 2 runs driven in.
That was a big one, and just nothing special off of it. He went the opposite way and just by inches flared it over Calaccio's glove at short. Doing a nice job, and he did a job for the Miners here.
Van Blake with 14 RBIs this season, also 24 hits as well, as that's his second RBI against the Bucs. So with 2 outs and now a runner on first, Spencer Henson steps in from the right side of the plate. So Grant Cox will keep working from the stretch. His first pitch to Henson misses blown away, 1-0. The first hit of the ball game came at the hands of Spencer Henson, who had a hit back in his first at-bat in the first inning, as he grounded out to lead off the 4th inning, but looks to keep the visiting half of the 5th inning going, as Caleb Van Blake just had 2 RBIs with the single. He swings through an off-speed pitch right there. The count is now 1-1. So Van Blake, who only for the second time this season going multiple games in a row without a hit, comes through big time for the Miners right now, 2-0, as the rain is falling very heavily here in Mulcahy Stadium in Anchorage. The Miners trying to go into a possible rain delay with the lead. The 1-1 pitch. This is a breaking ball that just misses away, 2-1. So Grant Cox's 1-run streak has been broken. Now he has allowed 3 runs in his 13 2/3 inning of work. Cox looking over at first. With 2 outs, motions to the plate. Henson swings through. The count is now 2-2. Spencer Henson, whose second in batting average, came in tonight second in that category. 348 is still battling with Jake Feith, as that's the only thing that Spencer Henson isn't in first in the Triple Crown categories. He does lead in home runs and RBIs. So now he'll step in, wiggle the bat a little bit. The count's 2-2. The Miners lead 2-0 as there's 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Cox's pitch. This misses low. Another full count worked by a Miners hitter, this time at the hands of Spencer Henson. So Caleb Van Blake will be on the move, standing on first base on the pitch, which we saw the runners moving on the crack of the bat help them score 2. So if Spencer Henson can lift one out, it'd be huge. The full count pitch. This one's a hot shot over to shortstop. Calaccio gathers it and throws to first in time for out number 3. But not before Caleb Van Blake delivers a 2 RBI single to give the Miners a 2-0 lead as we head into the home half of the 5th inning on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, Toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
The Miners score their 200th run of the season in the top of the fifth inning as they now lead the Anchorage Bucs 2-0. Miners now 201 runs on the season. They are currently 11 runs now behind last year's team total. So up for the Bucs to begin the home half of the fifth inning is J.C. Correa, or rather, scratch that, Jace Vandenbrake, Jacob Castro, and Dimitri Calaccio, the final three hitters in this Bucs lineup. Ian Churchill still on the bump for the Miners as this first pitch from Churchill is dribbled foul and over to the left side by Jace Vandenbrake. Vandenbrake, he's been making his name known today defensively, but in his first at-bat lined out to Drew Swift to end the second inning. So the Bucs trying to avenge those 2 runs they just allowed to the Miners in the top of the fifth. So Churchill misses low 1-1. And the Miners really pouncing on a Bucs pitching staff that was well. We mentioned that .50 ERA in the last 7 days. That'll definitely bump up thanks to the 2 runs of the Miners. Churchill misses again, low and away to the left-handed hitting Vandenbrake. Count is now 2 balls and 1 strikes with nobody out to the leadoff man Vandenbrake. Vandenbrake only 1 hit against the Miners this season in 18 at-bats. As Churchill's 2-1, this nails the outside corner, 2-2. As he had his first hit in 8 at-bats last night. So now, looking to possibly get back-to-back games with a hit. 2-2 fastball, misses away, a full count to begin this bottom of the fifth inning to Jace Vandenbrake.
Fastball just missing on the outside corner. Pinarini tried to bring it back in, but not to the eyes of Silas Drayden.
Churchill from the line, his 3-2 is swung at but missed by Jace Vandenbrake. So back-to-back strikeouts for Ian Churchill as he records the first out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Churchill now 5 strikeouts on the day and 36 on the season. That'll bring up Jacob Castro, the left-handed hitting catcher, who grounded out in his first at-bat in the third inning. Now only 1 hit in 25 at-bats on the season. He looks at a low fastball for a strike, 0-1.
Castro just struggling at the plate, not really recognizing the pitch, and when you can't see it, you can't hit it.
So the 0-1 misses away. The count is now 1-1 with 1 down. And it's always hard to break out of a slump, especially when you're not the go-to guy behind the plate, as Troy Clonch has adopted that role since coming from Oregon State. So Castro will have to take advantage of his slim opportunities as he has one today. He'll look at a ball. The count has moved to 2-1 with 1 down here in the bottom of the fifth inning. So Churchill working from the wind. His next pitch into Castro is lifted foul and out of play. So the count is now all squared up at 2. And these are the top 2 teams in the ABL and top 2 in really both hitting and pitching categories, as it's been really the pitching side that has showed for the most part between these 2 teams. Churchill's 2-2 misses high and away, 3-2. Last night we saw through the first 5 innings only 1 run scored, where the Bucs bats really came alive in those final 4. But today, only through 4.5 innings played, 2 runs scored, both by the Miners. This one is lined right in front of us here in the box, so the count will stay at 3-2. So Castro, he has struck out 2 times this season. This is his first game against the Matsu Miners. Stands in slightly open stance from the left side. Churchill looking in. His payoff pitch on the way. That's a hard ground ball over to first. Gathering it is Spencer Henson, and on the move from first base, from the pitching mound and covering first base is Ian Churchill for out number 2.
Churchill just springing off the mound after the past couple times, and there's been a ground ball to Henson. Henson couldn't reach the base this time, and Churchill just getting there in time to get the out.
So the past 2 innings, the Bucs have gotten a man on with 2 outs as Churchill tries to set this Anchorage team down for the second time tonight in order. They'll have to do it against the right-handed hitting shortstop, Dimitri Calaccio. As he looks at a first pitch strike 0-1, Calaccio looked at Caleb Van Blake's go over his just inning as he swings through an off-speed pitch from Churchill. He's now down the count 0-2, and then had to watch 2 runs come across for the Miners on that hit as they currently lead the Bucs 2-0, trying to avenge last night's loss and regain the season series lead 5-4 as it currently sits at 4 apiece. Churchill, his 0-2 offering, misses high and away, 1-2. We have 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mentioned the Miners leading 2-0 as they have lost their last 4 road games, and the Bucs have run 7 in a row total. This 1-2 is swung and missed by Dimitri Calaccio, and for the second time tonight, Ian Churchill sets the Bucs down in order and preserves this Matsu Miner 2-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs. We'll have the 6th inning for you when we come back on Matsu Miners Radio. Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Kona Quiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
A pitching duel that the Miners have the upside in currently. They lead 2-0 over the Anchorage Bucs in the battle of the best, the first and second place teams in the ABL, as the Miners hold a slim 2-game lead over the Bucs. But if they win today, that would improve to 3 and would only need one more win against this Anchorage team in the final 2 games to guarantee home field advantage for the playoffs in a regular season ABL title, as they are en route for a 3rd straight overall Alaska Baseball League championship. Kona Quiggle will get things going in the 6th inning. He bats from the left side with that slightly open stance against Grant Cox, who allowed 2 runs in the last inning. Kona Quiggle first pitch swinging, ropes one into right field, but Jace Vandenbrake is standing right there to make the catch for out number 1. So Vandenbrake, a not exciting catch for out number 1, but nevertheless was as effective as the rest of them. Nick Brooks will step up to the plate, who walked in his last at-bat in the 4th inning. So Nick Brooks has now walked 6 times rather this season, as he's has hits in 9 out of his 11 total games played this year. Tries to continue that streak as Cox's lines and delivers. He misses low to Nick Brooks, 1-0. This pitching staff, we mentioned, only 5 runs allowed in the past 7 games that the Miners have gotten 2 across so far in this game. Nick Brooks hits one high and over to the right side. Jake Feet, the first baseman, moving towards the fence, but was called off at the last minute by Tanner Treadaway. So that stopped Veith, and then Treadaway was just a few steps away from it. So Nick Brooks will stay alive. I tell you what, partner, that was interesting. Jake Veith seemed to be right on top of it, but then Tanner Treadaway, who was well away from that ball, called him off.
Well, usually the second baseman or shortstop will call off the corners because they have a better route to the ball when it goes like a flare into foul territory that way. And I guess he thought Treadaway was closer than he was.
So we're sitting at a 1-1 count as Nick Brooks lines this one to the backstop. The count will go to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brooks, who came into tonight with that 400 on base percentage, sits pretty nice, especially for a cleanup hitter, that is more than not looking for a big hit. But you can get on, it'll help the rest of your lineup. So Cox, he winds. His 1-2 pitch is well ahead of it by Nick Brooks, who strikes out for the second time this evening. And that is now the third strikeout recorded for Grant Cox. 2 down, top of the 6th inning. The Miners still lead the Bucs 2-0 as they look to avenge last night's loss where they went down 8-2. The Bucs scoring their all of their 8 runs in the last 4 innings. Aaron Walters stepped to the dish, who's had 2 loud outs to right field. Vandenbrake robbing him back in the 2nd inning, and then in the 4th inning making the catch at the track. As Grant Cox misses low to Aaron Walters, 1-0.
Already the longer at bat than Walters has had all day, as he swung at the first 2 pitches.
As he looks at another ball, 2-0. So Walters being very aggressive on Cox early, hence why Cox maybe missing intentionally outside the zone, trying to get Walters to miss. Nevertheless, Walters this time pokes one out into center field. Moving back is Brendan Breaux. He puts up the leather and retrieves the ball for out number 3. The Miners are set down in order for only the 3rd time tonight in 6 innings of play. They still hold a 2-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs, and we'll have the bottom of the 6th inning when we come back on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Ian Churchill looking to tie his longest outing of the season as he looks to record 3 outs in the bottom of the, rather, look to tie his second longest outing of the season as we enter the bottom of the 6th inning with Escala, Veith, and Correa due up for the Anchorage Bucs, the 1-2-3 hitters. So Escala tonight is 0 for 2, flying out in both of his at-bats, as Mr. Escala is now 4 of 31 against the Matsu Miners and only 2 hits in his past 14 at-bats. Both of those hits coming in his prior 2 games played before tonight, as he check swings at this first pitch by Ian Churchill, but it was a called strike by Silas Drayton, so the count is 0-1. Churchill been working from the wind, looks in his next pitch to Willie Escala. It's another fastball in the inside corner to the right-hander hitting Escala. He's ahead in the count, 0-2. Churchill ended last inning with a strikeout, looks to begin this bottom half of the 6th inning the same way. Escala fights it off. He'll stay alive at 0-2.
One thing I noticed about Churchill pitching to lefties as opposed to righties, for lefties, he's pitching them outside. Against right-hand batters like Escala here, he's pitching right inside.
Churchill's 0-2. This one lined into left field, near the left field line, but just foul. So the count will stay 0-2. So Churchill really working that same portion of the plate as it's outside the lefties, but inside the righties. Nevertheless, whatever's working, he hasn't allowed a hit, or rather, there's not a no-hit going on. He has not allowed a run through 5 innings of work, but only those 2 hits. Has been very efficient. Fastball, this is inside, but just a tad bit low, so the count will head to 1-2 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As the Miners do lead in strikeouts this year, but the Bucs have the second least. But Willie Escala is well in front of that off-speed pitch by Ian Churchill, and he'll have his 7th strikeout tonight with the first out in the bottom of the 6th inning.
This is exactly the start that Ian Churchill and the Matsu Miners needed. After losing yesterday, they need to come back strong, and Churchill has been able to do that and provide for the Miners today.
So Ian Churchill will increase that strikeout lead, which is over the Anchorage Bucs, as they now have a team total of 325. As the Bucs are now up to 312 with the 3 strikeouts from Grant Cox tonight. As Jake Veith will step to the plate, leading the league in ABL, or leading the league in batting average, as he tries to bunt, but it flies out of play to the left side as he got the barrel too low. So with the 1-1, the shift for rather at shortstop, still same position. Tyler Bozzetti behind the second place bag, and then shallow center field. And in shallow right field is Caleb Van Blake, still in the second base area. And Spencer Henson hugging the line at first, but he's playing back. But Jake Veith hits it over to the opposite field as it hits the left field fence. He's now down on the count, 0-2.
And it's important for Ian Churchill to pitch inside, pitch to where the shift is. Don't miss outside where Veith has an opportunity to then take it the opposite way. For Churchill, he's got to go inside and elevate and lower the pitch.
And if Veith does go the opposite way with an inside pitch, it'll most likely be a ground ball, and Drew Swift definitely has the range to get him out. As Churchill misses low and away with a breaking ball, the count is now 1-2. Trying to get Veith to turn on one that just wasn't there. So his next pitch, this is inside a jam job as it's fouled out of play to the left side. Churchill will stay ahead in the count, 1-2. So Veith, who comes into tonight with a 5-game hit streak and had his second multi-hit game in that span, going 2 for 4 last night, has yet to see a hit in this ball game. Churchill winds and deals his 1-2, misses high and inside on Jake Veith, so the count goes 2-2. Almost hitting Jake Veith in that right elbow as he stands in from the left side of the plate. As the rain has seemed to not necessarily come to a halt, but definitely slow down here in Anchorage. Wheel definitely does not seem like a rain delay is on the radar. Churchill, his 2-2, fouled straight back. Jake Veith and Ian Churchill battling here with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. As the Bucs have only put 3 runners on base all game long. Look to add possibly another one right now. Churchill, his 2-2. Fastball just misses low. The count goes to 3-2. As third baseman Tyler Bozzetti was disapproval, throwing up his mitt. As currently he stands behind second, so not really playing that third base bag, but nevertheless still labeled as a third baseman. As Churchill's payoff pitch misses high and away on Jake Veith, he'll take his base on a walk, as that is the second walk issued tonight by Ian Churchill. Churchill only his 9th walk issued all season, so he's really efficient, throwing a lot of strikes. As Jeff Erlab will now take a mound visit to Ian Churchill. Seems like someone throwing in the Miners' pen, not necessarily warm-up tosses, but playing catch. No one up in the Bucs' pen yet, as Jeff Erlab meets with Ian Churchill. So with this break, we'd like to thank the official travel sponsor of the Mat-Su Miners, Alaska Airlines, for getting the Miners up to Alaska this season and flying them safely back home. So as they meet, the Miners are leading the Bucs 2-0. This has been quite the pitching duel, only combined 5 hits through the most part of this game, as the Miners scoring on a 2 RBI single of Caleb Van Blake in the top of the 5th inning. But that's been about it, as the Bucs trying to extend their win streak to 8 in a row tonight, and the Miners trying to end a 4-game road losing streak, as they also lost last night at home, where they've been mostly dominant this year, and that's why they're really fighting for that 1 spot. So the meeting is adjourned as Silas Drayden walks to the mound to break it up, as J.C. Correa will step up to the plate. He's 1 for 2 tonight, a base hit in his first at-bat in the 1st inning, but also flew out in the 4th inning. So Correa now 39 hits on the season and is also 9 of 28 against the Mat-Su Miners. So Correa swinging a nice bat, now an 8-game hit streak, and has 3 hits now in these past 2 games. as he takes a strike inside from Ian Churchill. So Churchill continues to work the inside portion of the plate to right-handers and outside to the left-handers as Correa stands from the right side. So the lefty on righty matchup as Correa dribbles it foul behind him. Count is now 0-2.
Well, whatever pitching coach Jeff Erlab said to Churchill, it's really got him fired up, coming back and firing 2 straight strikes.
And it's a tough out of Correa, who in this 7-game hit streak is batting .370 with 2 RBIs, also with 3 multi-hit games, with one of them coming last night. Churchill's 0-2 has Correa swinging on the high cheddar. He strikes out J.C. Correa. Now Ian Churchill, with 8 strikeouts tonight, is now 1 away from 40 strikeouts on the season. So
the Miners do a nice job putting away batters via the strikeout. Churchill, Haley, Lacey. You know, you can run through, of course, Malachi coming in relief. You can run through the whole pitching staff and find out guys with more than 10, 15, 20 strikeouts on the season.
And that's really impressive when you can get guys to go down, as this pitch gets away from Austin Pinarini. He'll have to run to the backstop to gather it, and Jake Feith will advance to second, as Tanner Treadaway is now ahead in the count against Ian Churchill 1-0. But nevertheless, there is that strikeout total up to a 326 for the Matsu Miners. As you just mentioned, Connor, a lot of guys on this staff love to set down batters via the strikeout. As we have a 1-0 count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning, Jake Feith stands on second for the Bucs, as the tying run is now at the dish in Tanner Treadaway. So Austin Pinarini will want to chat with Ian Churchill, and rightfully so, as Churchill missed well upstairs, as they want to get back on the same page. Churchill not necessarily struggling at all in this inning. Both of his outs have been via the strikeout. His only mishap was walking Jake Feith. As the Miners lead the league in walks, now up to 159 total. They'll have to really work on that stat as they head into the late part of the season and the playoffs. So Churchill is 1-0 from the stretch. Misses high and into Tanner Treadaway, 2-0. Treadaway has struck out twice now in this ball game, and 25 on the season, as he has 7 strikeouts in his past 4 games played. But currently, he's ahead in the count, 2-0. Churchill from his chest has Treadaway swinging. Count is now 2-1.
And for Churchill, he just has to dial in, focus on Tanner Treadaway. Jake Feith has taken a big lead at second base, trying to draw some attention, but he's not getting any. So Treadaway is the batter that Churchill really needs to divert all of his attention to. Don't give any attention to Feith.
Churchill many of times has had runners on with 2 outs and simply just focused on the batter. As he gets Treadaway to foul one off, the count is now 2-2. So Churchill looking to set down Treadaway for the 3rd time tonight on strikes, and also working for his 40th strikeout on the season. As the count's tied at 2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Miners 2, Bucs 0 in this battle between first and second place teams in the ABL. Churchill, deep breath on the rubber, but Tanner Treadaway will call time, as that was a long look in from Ian Churchill to Austin Pinarini. And Treadaway wants to regather himself. He's now in the box from the right side. He'll face the southpaw Ian Churchill. Looks in again for his signs. The count all at 2. So Churchill takes a peek at second, now motions to the plate. His 2-2 is lined foul. Count will stay that way at 2-2. Tanner Treadaway, who went hitless for the 2nd time in 4 games last night, has yet to have a hit tonight, striking out both times. As the Bucs strike out the 2nd least out of all the teams in the ABL, only just ahead of the Matsu Miners. So we mentioned these 2 teams are truly the 2 best in the ABL. Churchill once again comes set from his chest. His 2-2 on the way. Tanner Treadaway swings through yet another Ian Churchill pitch. That's the 3rd time he's been down on strikeouts tonight. And Ian Churchill, with a total of 9 strikeouts on the evening, gives him 40 on this summer campaign. So the Miners lead the Bucs 2-0, and we'll throw it back over to Connor Mills for the final 3 innings of play on Matsu Miners Radio. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad, an Operation Lifesaver, would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to
Top of the seventh inning between the Matsu Miners and the Anchorage Bucs. Miners lead 2-0 thanks to 2 RBI single from Caleb Van Blake. Leading things off here in the top of the seventh, Danny Wright, Austin Pianarini, and Drew Swift are all due up. Once again, the Miners with the record of 25-16, looking to go back to 10 games over 500 at 26-16. They finished last season at 30-14, a record they cannot get to in the regular season, but they look to win some ball games in the postseason as well. As the first pitch from Grant Cox misses high and away for ball one. Danny Wright on the day. He is 1 for 2. Ground out to third base and also had a double as this one is flared out into right center field. Ranging in and making the one-hand grab is Jace Vanderbrake for the first out here in the top of the seventh. A ball that was almost hit in the middle of 3 ball players, Bro, Treadaway, and Vanderbrake. Vanderbrake makes a call and the catch.
We already saw one sort of mishap in that same sort of situation with the Bucs, doing a good job of communicating this time for the right man to make the catch.
Now Austin Pianarini, who walked, came around to score back in the 5th inning. He will stand in. 0 for 1 on the day as he watches this first pitch from Grant Cox hit the inside portion of the zone. 0-1. Infield is playing Austin Pianarini back. Everybody's near the grass portion of the turf as the 0-1 from Cox is on the way, taken in for a called strike. A good-looking breaking ball freezes Pianarini. No balls and 2 strikes for Austin Pianarini. Cox pitching from the windup. He's ready and deals. Swung on, hit high into the air, deep right field. Ranging back to the wall is Jace Vanderbrake, leaping. And did he rob another? Yes, he did. Jace Vanderbrake. That might not have had the distance to go out, but he leaped right at the fence. And Vanderbrake in front of the State Farm. Some good insurance for Grant Cox.
A great catch there from Jace Vanderbrake, but I think the leap may have been a little unnecessary, partner, as he wasn't quite at the wall, just a few steps onto the warning track. Nevertheless, great effort and great defense all night long from Jace Vanderbrake.
The Miners have to figure out which outfielder to hit it to, and Vanderbrake is not the one they want to. A perfect day for Jace Vanderbrake in the field as now Drew Swift will stand in. Swift takes a first pitch fastball in for a called strike, and Vanderbrake has already gotten to Swift. Ranging over and making a leaping catch into right center field as Drew is 0 for 1 as he grounds this one softly over toward short. Ranging in is Calaccio. The throw is not in time. An infield single for Drew Swift, his first hit on the day as Swift reaches base with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Tyler Bassetti now coming to the plate.
Drew Swift flies through the first base bag for an infield single. Gotta love the Swift speed.
Swift speed indeed. As Swift is on first with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. And now Tyler Bassetti in search for his first hit. He's 0 for 2 with a fly out to center field and also struck out in the 5th. Drew Swift was on the move. The throw over. He tries to leap over it and does not. Swift is caught stealing for his 4th time on the season. And now Tyler Bassetti will lead things off in the top of the 8th. But for the Miners, 1 hit, nobody comes across. Nobody left on base as the Miners have a 2-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs. This game's heading into the bottom of the 7th when we return here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Ian Churchill returns to the mound here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He's going 6 strong and looks to tie his longest outing of the year. Ian Churchill so far has allowed 2 hits, no runs, and no errors for the Miners defense behind him. Churchill will have to go through Tyler Malone, Brennan Bro, and Jace Vanderbrake, who keeps on making some great catches out in right. A lefty-on-lefty matchup from Churchill into Tyler Malone, who swings and fouls it off towards the left side. Ranging over into foul territory was the third baseman Tyler Bassetti, but he'll run out of room as he runs into a fence. No balls and 1 strike to count here in the bottom of the 7th inning to Tyler Malone. Malone on the day, he is 1 for 2. Grounded out to short and also had a base hit in the 4th. Second pitch hits the zone, no balls, 2 strikes. And Churchill in search for double digits and strikeouts as the 0-2 is delivered just outside for ball 1. Churchill now 40 strikeouts on the year to 9 walks as 1-2 swung on a missed strike 3. 10 strikeouts on the day for Ian Churchill.
Churchill, just a wonderful performance that is much needed for this Miners team, bouncing back very nicely so far in the tough loss. And I mentioned today or earlier in the game, Connor, that it may just be the first team to score or win this ball game, and right now it's looking that way.
Well, we just heard from down in Kenai, the Peninsula Oilers and the Anchorage Glacier Pilots have been rained out, so this is the only game back-to-back days. As the first pitch is in for a called strike to Brennan Bro. Bro struck out looking back in the 4th as another strike is in called. No balls and 2 strikes, and also grounded down to first base unassisted in the 2nd inning. No balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Ian Churchill looking for 11. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, he's got it. 11 strikeouts for Ian Churchill as the strikeout totals just continue to pile up for this Miners pitching staff.
That's now 2 out of the past 3 games that the Miners starter has gone 10-plus strikeouts. So Churchill really dealing well, and that's multiple times that he's gotten the Bucs to swing through on a high fastball.
And for Churchill, this is already the most strikeouts in a game that he's had. The last total was 8. That came against the Chinooks on June 30th as a first pitch into Jace Vanderbrake misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th with the Miners up 2-0 on the Anchorage Bucs. 1-2 on the way, swung on, and this one is popped up into the infield. Drew Swift has eyes on it, ranges under it, makes 1-hand grab, and that puts the inning to rest. For the bottom of the 7th inning for the Anchorage Bucs, 2 strikeouts and a pop-out as Ian Churchill, another 1-2-3 inning for him. This game is heading into the top of the 8th inning with the Miners leading 2-0 here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi guys, Drew Swift, infielder from Arizona State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Top of the 8th inning, Tyler Bassetti will lead things off. It'll be Bassetti, then the top, as the Miners hold a 2-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs. Their losing streak at 1. They lost to the Bucs yesterday 8-2, had a 2-game winning streak thanks to a doubleheader, 2 wins against the Chinooks. That came on Sunday. As Tyler Bassetti gets ready, Bassetti 0 for 2. Has 11 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs on the season. Still has to find his first hit today. As Grant Cox remains on the mound here in the bottom of the 7th, or top of the 8th, excuse me, as first pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. Grant Cox, a starter in this game, has 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. As now the 0-1 count to Bassetti, fastball misses high and away, 1-1. Bassetti coming into the day, batting .252, 13 RBIs and 20 walks. As 1-1 is delivered outside, try to be pulled back by Castro. Silas Drayden not having it. 2-1 the count, nobody out. Top of the 8th, swing and a miss by Bassetti. 2-2 is now the count.
To allude quickly to Ian Churchill's performance, it's really impressive that he's doing it against the second best hitting team in the ABL that has only struck out 245 times so far this season, which is second least.
The 2-2 swung on and a bouncing ball foul towards the left side and along third baseline. Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody out. Tyler Bassetti is the leadoff guy here in the top of the 8th inning, with the Miners leading 2-0. Standing on deck is the guy who drove in the 2 runs in Caleb Van Blake. There's now Cox's 2-2 is on the way. It misses outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Bassetti looking to reach base for the first time today as he flew out to center and struck out in his 2 trips to the plate. The 3-2. Ball 4. Bassetti reaches base, his 4th walk in just 2 days. As now his walk total is 21. Doing a nice job getting on base is Tyler Bassetti, as now Caleb Van Blake will stand in at the plate on the left side.
And the Miners have done a nice job being disciplined tonight from the plate, knowing it's going to be yet another pitching duel most likely. So trying to get runners on when they can. And let's see if Caleb Van Blake can maybe deliver again.
Van Blake, 1 for 3 as he's first pitch swinging, lifts it deep out into right field, ranging over into right center field as Jace Vandenbrake makes one-handed catch for the first out here on the top of the 8th. Van Blake 1 for 4 on the day. And unless he comes to the plate again, that will do it for him.
Van Blake did get the barrel of the bat on it, but unfortunately had to extend his arms out a little too much to do so. So that was just an all arm swing. So hence why not a lot of power coming out of the bat.
And with that, a mound meeting will take place. Ken Hokoff, the manager of the Anchorage Bucs, will take a walk out into the mound, and it looks like Grant Cox's day will be over, and it is. Grant Cox going 7 1/3 of an innings pitched, had 3 strikeouts and 2 walks, as we'll see a new man on the mound. The Matsu Miners lead the Anchorage Bucs here at Mulcahy Stadium 2-0. As we'll be right back after the pitching change here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Alaska Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer Henson, infielder at Oral Roberts University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
We are still here in the top of the 8th inning. A new man on the mound in Alex Siegel, as he'll look to keep the Miners at 2 runs. Siegel comes in relief for Grant Cox, who went 7 1/3 of an innings pitched, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned, allowed 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. As now it will be Siegel's job to go through Spencer Henson and Kona Quiggle with 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. Alex Siegel, 6'4", 190 pounds, out of Wichita State University, where he was a freshman, and hails from Scottsdale, Arizona. 0 for 4 on the season with a 4.79 ERA. Has appeared in 9 games, only started 1 of them, as he's transitioned more into a relief role. Has 1 save on the season in 20 2/3 of an innings pitched, has 26 strikeouts, 14 walks, and allowed 19 hits. His last outing came on July 19th against the Peninsula Oilers, where he went 2 innings, allowed a hit, a walk, and got 2 strikeouts. Spencer Henson now comes to the plate, a lefty on righty matchup. Henson has 1 hit on the day as he's 1 for 3. Also has 2 groundouts to the shortstop in the 4th and 5th inning. Tyler Bassetti is a man on first. He reached base on a walk as the first pitch is low and inside to Spencer Henson. The check down over to Brad Polk at first. Confirms it's a ball.
I tell you what a guy to face for your first at-bat in the game for Siegel and Spencer Henson.
1 on the count, the pitch swung on, ground ball foul along the left side. And for Siegel, he last faced the Miners on July 12th, where he took the loss. He was 1 2/3 of an inning in relief, allowed a run, it was earned, allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, but struck out 4 Matsu Miners. As the count is 1-1 to Spencer Henson with 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. Miners lead 2-0. Siegel's pitch swung on, and this one is high in the air along the right side. Ranging in is Jace Vandenbrake, who makes a sliding feet first catch to retire Spencer Henson. Jace Vandenbrake having himself a defensive day as he retires Spencer Henson with help from Alex Siegel.
You know, he really is, and Vandenbrake just has a read on every single ball hit towards his way, and when you're feeling it some days, you're really feeling it, and you're on everything that you try to do.
Tyler Bassetti led this inning off with a walk. Caleb Van Blake flew out to right, and then again, Spencer Henson flew out to right. And now Kona Quiggle at the plate. Quiggle lined out to right field his last time up as he'll look to find a hole. First pitch misses inside to Quiggle. 1 ball, no strikes, and 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Miners up 2-0.
Siegel's a tough guy for lefties to hit because of his delivery. Doesn't really show his arm until really late and has that sort of quick release.
Fastball misses inside again. 2 balls, no strikes, with Tyler Bassetti on first. Miners looking to bring the magic number down to 1. They need to win 2 games against the Bucs to clinch it themselves. 1 win and 1 loss to the Chinooks would also clinch it for the Miners, as the Bucs have the Chinooks and 4 more games left on the season. After this, the Miners only 2. one here at Mulcahy against the Bucs and one home at Herman Brothers, as the last pitch was in for a called strike. 2-1 the count, and now swinging is Kona Quiggle. He lifts it out into left. The one-hand catch is made by Tyler Malone, and the side is retired. Tyler Bassetti reaches base with a walk, but not much else happening here in the top of the 8th inning. The Miners 2, the Bucs nothing. As we enter the bottom half of the inning, looks like we will see a new pitcher on the mound. Closer Bryce Tossand takes a trot out from the bullpen. He'll be in for a 6-out save, as we'll be right back here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just room or pool, like cans, bottles.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Bryce Tossand, the Matsu Miners closer, is in here in the bottom of the 8th as he looks for his first 6-out save, his 10th of the season. He'll have to go through Jacob Castro, Dimitri Calaccio, and Willie Escala here in the bottom of the 8th as he's about ready to get things started. Ian Churchill on the day went 7 innings, had 11 strikeouts, only walked 2, and has allowed no runs. So a nice quality outing for Ian Churchill. Only 2 hits allowed for him as well, as Bryce Tossand and Austin Pianarini meet on the mound as they get ready to pitch to Jacob Castro. Miners on the day, 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Bucs. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors for them. Infield is playing back besides Tyler Bassetti, who's kind of near third base or closer to a bag than anybody else on the infield, as it's a righty on lefty matchup between Bryce Tossand and the batter Jacob Castro. Castro on the day is 0 for 2 as first pitch misses inside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch is taking it inside again. Bryce Tossand missing low in the turf with the last 2. 2-0 the count. And for Bryce, 1-3 on the season, a 0.91 ERA. As the 2-0 pitch misses outside. 3 straight balls to begin the outing for Bryce Tossand, with nobody out here on the bottom of the 8th inning. The 3-0. Taken outside again, it's a 4-pitch walk to Jacob Castro, and now Dimitri Calaccio will come to the dish.
And I tell you what, even though Ian Churchill had a wonderful performance and the Miners haven't led for much, but thanks to the strong performance from Churchill, it feels like this game is not as close as it actually is. Only a 2-run lead, so this is a big situation for Bryce, but he'll look to shake off that opening walk and possibly get a double play as his middle infielders are pretty good.
Only Bryce's 7th walk allowed on the season, as he has 23 strikeouts, 7 walks, has allowed 15 hits as the first pitch is in for a called strike to Dimitri Calaccio, his first strike on the day. As he gets ahead on Calaccio, no balls and 1 strike, nobody out here at the bottom of the 8th inning. And on first is Jacob Castro. Infield is double play depth, Henson holding on Castro. The 0-1 swung on and right off of Bryce Tossand. Drew Swift will hustle to the ball, but he will have no play It's an infield single for Dimitri Calaccio. The first two batters have reached the base paths against Bryce Tossan, and now pitching coach Jeff Verlab will take a trot out to the mound to make sure his pitcher is okay.
Yeah, making sure he's okay, and definitely going to go through the scouting report on Jake Veith and also try to explain to Bryce, just relax. It's not too big of a situation. Just handle your business and pitch the way that you're able to.
Well, an unusual now dual coaching meeting, as now manager Ben Taylor will take his walk out to the mound as well.
And I'm sure they're both going to ask about Bryce's leg, wondering if they should bring the trainer out or not, as it seems like there hasn't going to need any medical attention.
First two batters have reached base here in the bottom of the 8th inning against Bryce Tossan, as everybody appears to be smiling about it. Bryce was just hit on a line drive off the bat of Dimitri Calaccio, as now there's runners on first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th, and the top of the order for the Anchorage Bucs are coming up. Willie Escala, Jake Veith, and J.C. Correa will all come in. Last outing for Bryce Tossan came against the Chinooks, where the Miners won 12-5. He went an inning, allowed a hit, but got 2 strikeouts. As now the corners are in, middle infielders are back. Bunt was pulled back by Escala for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 runners on.
Not surprising, Escala trying to move the runners over for their best hitter in their lineup on deck.
Tossan only has 1 run to play with as the Miners lead 2-0. Tossan looking back at second, creeping in from first is Spencer Henson. The 1-0 is a bunt that is pulled back again. 2 balls, no strikes, and nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Miners up 2-0 with 2 runners on base for the Bucs.
Interesting that Escala's pulling back. I mean, they're just out of the zone, but they are fastballs. That's the easiest pitch to bunt.
Tossan looks into his catcher, Austin Pianarini. Middle infield still playing double play depth. Corners are being brought in. Henson staying near first base this time as Escala asks for time. He is granted. 2 balls and no strikes to Willie Escala from Bryce Tossan. A leadoff walk to Jacob Castro started the bottom of the 8th. Then a base hit from Dimitri Calaccio, as now a fastball's in for a called strike. The bunt was pulled back again by Escala. But as you said, Silas Drayden called it a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody out.
Real nice pitch there from Bryce Tossan. Run right on the edge as he sort of had a pitch to waist twist before he fell behind 3-0. An excellent placement.
The tying run is on first base for the Bucs. As now Tossan pitching from the stretch. He deals the 2-1, bunted high in the air. Tyler Bassetti charging in, but it is not able to get it in foul territory. Tyler Bassetti was charging in, trying to make the backhand play while the ball was still in the air, but just not enough air under it from Willie Escala. He stays alive at the plate, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
As Bassetti elected to go with the sliding attempt grab rather than the leaping approach. Got to wonder if maybe the leap was better, but nevertheless, he had the bead on it, was just not there. But for Bryce Tossan, now 2 strikes on Escala.
2-2 the count. Tossan's pitch, off speed, misses inside. And for Bryce, he needs to throw a strike here. 3-2 the count. Does not want to load the bases for the most dangerous hitter in the Alaskan Baseball League in Jake Veith.
And especially because Veith, even if he doesn't get a hit, he'll most likely put it in play. So this is a big pitch right here.
3-2. Bryce Tossan looks back now at the dish. He deals, swung on, ground ball over towards Drew Swift. He hurries. The underhand toss to Van Blake is in time. The turn is not. 1 out here with runners at the corners and Jake Veith coming to the plate. Swift was able to get the trail runner, but could not turn the double play, as that was a slow roller. Did a nice job charging in. Does get 1 out.
And that's all right. That 1 out is just all you need to sort of bring your confidence back just a little bit. Now a opportunity for a double play. It's going to be a tough 2 outs, but nevertheless, Bryce Tossan, he's been clutch all season long for the Miners, has definitely pulled through, and the Miners are going to need him to right now.
Jake Veith has grounded into 3 double plays on the season, one of them coming against the Matsu Miners. as he now stands in against Bryce Tossan. Righty on lefty matchup for Jake Veith as he's first pitch swinging. A good block from Austin Pianarini. Veith expecting a fastball, got the off-speed pitch, 0-1.
Real nice pitch there from Bryce. Started sort of on the lower inside portion and then just broke even more at Veith's toes. A truly unhittable pitch, especially when you're not guessing on it. You'll look like a fool at the batter's box.
0-1 the count. Runners at the corners here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Only one out, 0-1 the count. Bryce Tossan to Jake Veith. The pitch taken on the outside corner. Strike 2 called. Tossan will have to get through Veith and then another dangerous hitter in J.C. Correa should he want to exit this inning unscathed. There's a run 90 feet away from scoring for the Bucs here in the bottom of the 8th inning, but an 0-2 count to Jake Veith with one out. Bryce Tossan shaking his head. The pitch taken high for ball 1. Jake Veith being very selective.
Yeah, and that's a nice pitch by Bryce Tossan. When you're head 0-2 on one of the best hitters in the ABL, you do not want to throw it anywhere near the zone. You want to swing and a miss, so smart idea right there.
The best closer in the league versus the best hitter in the league. Tossan, Veith, the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Bryce Tossan can take a breath of relief, but it'll have to be a short breath as J.C. Correa will come to the dish. Correa has already walked off against the Miners earlier in the season. That came here at Mulcahy Stadium. As Bryce Tossan will look to get the out here. Runners are still at the corners. Tying run at first. Winning run at the plate in Correa as we're here in the bottom of the 8th inning. First pitch into him is taken on a fastball. Outside corner, 0-1.
And some confident pitching coming from Bryce Tossan right now. All pitches in that Jake Veith at bat were thrown with 100% pure confidence. 2 of them swinging for misses.
0-1 the count to J.C. Correa. The pitch swung on, fouled off. He's ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. Runners are at the corners here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Correa, 1 for 3 on the day, has a single in the first, flew out to right in the 4th, and then struck out in the 6th. He's behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes to Bryce Tossan. From the stretch, he deals. Swung on, bouncing ball over to Caleb Van Blake. He has it. The throw over to first in time, and the side is retired. Bryce Tossan gets into some trouble here in the bottom of the 8th inning, but he's able to work his way out of it. Nice pitching from Tossan. Good defense behind him as the Mat-Su Miners still hold a 2-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs as we head to the top of the 9th. It's the Miners 2, Bucs 0 right here on Mat-Su Miners Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Baseball.
The Miners can breathe a little bit easier now as it's their turn to come to the plate. After Bryce Tossan came in to the bottom of the 8th, first 2 batters reached. They were at the corners, but then he was able to strike out Jake Veith and put the bottom of the 8th to bed. It's the top of the 9th inning. Nick Brooks, Aaron Walters, and Danny Wright all due up for the Mat-Su Miners as they hold a 2-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs here at Mulcahy Stadium. Connor Mills, Brad Walker with you on the call. Nick Brooks looks to get his first hit of the day. He has struck out twice and walked in the 4th as Alex Siegel remains on the mound. We saw just moments ago Spencer Henson took a trot out to the bullpen as he might be coming in to the bottom of the ninth. We'll see if it's Bryce Tossan or Spencer Henson looking to get a save, as the first pitch was swinging from Nick Brooks. No balls and 1 strike, nobody out, top of the 9th inning. Siegel from the windup, he deals, and this one just hit the back foot of Nick Brooks. And now home plate umpire Silas Drayden, who didn't really catch it the first time through. Brooks kind of sold it there, pointed to his foot, and Silas said, all right, yeah, you can take your base.
Well, also, that ball made a really funky hop high in the air to the backstop, so that's really not going to happen with just a basic pitch hitting the turf. There had to be some sort of interaction, and it wasn't the bat or the glove of the catcher, or the bat of Nick Brooks or the catcher. It was definitely the foot.
So now the leadoff man is on base, and Nick Brooks, Aaron Walters, who's driven the ball for 3 straight times, will now deal with Alex Siegel. Siegel coming in to pitch with 1 out in the top of the 8th, as we're here in the top of the 9th. 2 straight strikes from Siegel. Aaron Walters behind in the count, 0-2. Walters was able to take the starter Grant Cox deep, but Jace Vandenbrake being able to make some nice catches, as well as Brandon Breaux in center. The 0-2 swung on and tapped, fouled straight back at the box, and behind home plate. Castro's got it for right now.
It's got to be tough for Walters seeing these deep drives, but just getting robbed or caught multiple times. But you just have to stick with it and believe that one of them is finally going to break through.
0-2 the count. Nobody out here in the top of the 9th inning. Miners up 2-0. Aaron Walters and Alex Siegel. The pitch to Walters taken outside for ball 1. Nick Brooks is on first. He reached base with a hit by pitch, as the infield is playing double play depth. J.C. Correa playing even with the bag. And the 1-2 pitch is swung on and fouled off towards the left side and out of play. Count remains at 1-2. Outfield does have Aaron Walters shifted towards left field just a bit. Brandon Breaux playing to our left of the second base bag, his right. As Alex Siegel is ready, and the 1-2 swung on and missed at a ball in the turf for strike 3. Aaron Walters striking out for the first time today, 21st of the season, as that's the first out here in the top of the 9th inning with Danny Wright coming to the plate.
That's a tough strikeout right there from Aaron Walters, but can have his head down for his performance tonight. Some great hits, just unfortunately have gone right at the Bucs.
Danny Wright, who's 1 for 3 today, stands in from the right side. The switch hitter out of Southeast Missouri takes a first pitch for a called strike, 0-1. For Danny Wright, grounded out to third, flew out to right field, and also had a double, came around to score in the 5th inning. Second pitch is low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out here in the top of the 9th. The runner on first against Alex Siegel.
Danny Wright sort of sparked things in the 5th inning with that hit, as it ended up being very vital, as he was one of the 2 runs to come around and score.
The 1-1 from Siegel is swung on and missed. Nick Brooks kind of jumps off first, but then realizes the ball is in front of the catcher, Castro, and has to hurry back. 1-2 now the count to Danny Wright.
Wright swinging through that, knew about halfway through his swing that he was not going to get to it, as it was a nice pitch from Siegel, but has to relax, step back in the box, and look to protect.
1-2. Siegel's got his sign and is ready. From the stretch, he deals. 1-2 is fouled off in the box. It rolls over towards the Bucs dugout, as someone will retrieve it. 1-2, the count remains to Danny Wright. Miners only holding a 2-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs as they look to get back to winning. We're on a 2-win streak before that was snapped, as this one is a line drive out into right field. Nick Brooks staying at second base, and on first with his second hit of the day is Danny Wright.
And that is what you call 2-strike hitting right there from Danny Wright. A breaking ball outside that was over the plate, just simply slapped the bat out there and hit it the other way. Nice piece of hitting there from Mr. Wright.
The Miners and Bucs are tied on the season series, 4 games apiece. The Miners with the win can go up 5-4. Also, they could go 1 game under 500 in search for their 10th win on the road. First pitch into Austin Pinerini is swung on and fouled off in the box. Pitcher Brady Corrigan, the starter of yesterday's game, will go out and retrieve it. Brady went 5 2/3, only allowed 2 runs. Both were unearned, and those 2 runs came into the game after he was out of the game. 0-1 the count to Pinerini. Runners are on first and second base. He holds his swing. It's high for ball 1. Pinerini on the day. He is 0 for 2. Flew out to right field, popped up to short, and walked in the 5th inning. That walk also came around to score as the Miners have a 2-0 lead. Pinerini bends out of this one. A high and in fastball from Alex Siegel. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike.
And Bryce Tossian would definitely like a bit more of a cushion before heading into that final inning. So if the Miners can even just get 1 across, it would help out Bryce Tossian's performance greatly.
2-1 the with 2 on base. The 2-1 from center field now get down for a base hit. Are loaded as Nick Brooks will stop at third. The ball was not far enough into the outfield for Brooks to take a hard turn and score. So bases are loaded with 1 out. Pinerini gets his first hit of the day as Matsu Miners are in business with Drew Swift at the plate.
Pinerini, after going through a hitless streak, has now had a hit in his past 3 games. So really good to see Pino start to turn it around, and a great time to do it in the season.
Drew Swift will stand in at the plate with 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. Miners lead only 2-0. It'll be Swift and Tyler Bassetti, barring any double plays. Drew Swift batting in from the right side. First pitch swinging. He hits it into the air, out into left field, and it will fall for a base hit. Holding midway was Danny Wright, as he'll be thrown out at third. Not sure what Tyler Malone was doing there. Malone, I guess, didn't get a good read on the ball. It was a high looping hit out into left. It will go as a fielder's choice for Drew Swift, unfortunately, as 1 runner was thrown out in Danny Wright. But the Miners now take a 3-0 lead here in the top of the 9th inning with Drew Swift's 17th RBI on the season.
Swift, some great hitting right there, as it probably would have brought in a run regardless. But as you mentioned, just an interesting mindset from the left fielder Malone.
First pitch into Tyler Bassetti, misses high and away for ball 1. And I thought Malone would have had that ball in the air, but he just decided to wait on it and throw out Danny Wright, going from second to third. Drew Swift is on first base now, and on second base is Austin Pinerini. 1-0 the count. The pitch into Tyler Bassetti hits the strike zone. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 away here in the top of the 9th inning.
And it was real unfortunate. Danny Wright had to be retired in that circumstance, but got a fist bump from his head coach BT at third base, knowing that there's nothing he could do about it.
Spencer Henson has taken a trot back from the bullpen. We'll see who takes the mound in the next inning as the 1-1 to Bassetti is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. From Alex Siegel into Tyler Bassetti. 2 runners on base in the top of the 9th. Pinerini on second, Swift at first. The count is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tyler Bassetti. Bassetti looking for his first hit of the day. The 1-2 from Siegel, taken inside and in the turf. Castro does a nice job bouncing up and getting the ball. 2-2. The count now goes.
Bassetti has done a great job of working counts, not only tonight, but he did the similar thing last night to this Bucs pitching staff, really not going down without a true fight, even with 2 strikes on him.
Count is even at 2. There are 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. The Miners now lead 3 runs to none. The 2-2 swung on and missed by Bassetti for strike 3. Bassetti goes down on strikes for the 2nd time today, but the Miners, they score 1 more run as they lead the Anchorage Bucs by a score of 3-0 as we enter the bottom of the 9th inning. Miners 3, Bucs nothing, right here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Final half inning of play between the Matsu Miners and the Anchorage Bucs. Should Bryce Tossan be able to complete the 6-out save? He's got 3 more outs to get, as he will have to deal with the Anchorage Bucs' Tanner Treadaway, Tyler Malone, and Brennan Bro. Treadaway on the day has a golden sombrero, 3 strikeouts. Struck out in the first, in the fourth, and in the 6th. Ian Churchill took the Miners through 7 innings. Bryce Tossan tiptoed his way through the 8th. And now we find ourselves here in the bottom of the 9th. Miners lead 3-0.
This was a big win, as the Miners haven't performed too well in Anchorage against the Bucs, but look to pull one out tonight.
Miners bullpen is stacked up on top of each other, cheering on Bryce Tossan. His first pitch swinging is Tanner Treadaway. Drew Swift has it. The throw in time for the first out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 2 more outs to get for Bryce Tossan.
You got to love the energy coming from the bullpen, as it's been great tonight for everyone, especially trying to gauge their way for a win and try to only need 1 more to clinch that coveted first place spot in the playoffs.
Bryce Tossan will now pitch to Tyler Malone, and Malone is 1 for 3 on the day, grounded out to short, and also struck out in the 7th. Had his base hit for a single in the 4th inning. Bryce Tossan, 9 saves on the season, at the top of the ABL in that category, as a first pitch fastball misses outside for ball 1. Infield playing, Tyler Malone back. Outfield straight away. Checked his swing, he went around, so says Silas Drayden. 1 ball, 1 strike, with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Miners leading 3-0. Tossan, this would be his longest save attempt of the season, as he needs 2 more outs to complete it. The 1-1. In there for a called strike. Bryce Tossan is ahead of Tyler Malone. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. The 1-2 pitch swung on and just fouled off. Malone just a piece of it as he got under it. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And Bryce with a lot of confident pitching tonight and has the off day tomorrow.
The 1-2 swung on and another foul ball from Malone. That looked like it hurt as he got it right off the edge of the bats. But he stays alive at the plate. 1-2.
Bryce just really locating his pitching as well tonight, especially mixing them up as well, so these Bucs hitters fooled just a tad.
The 1-2 pitch from Bryce Tossan is swung on, and another foul ball from Tyler Malone. Tossan looking to put the magic number down to 1 for the Matsu Miners. Right now it's at 3.
Exactly, and it would be a clutch performance tonight from Bryce.
A ball that misses low and inside to Tyler Malone. Count evens itself out at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning. For the Miners, 2 wins against the Bucs would clinch their own destiny, as a 2-2 is taken inside and low. Count is run full to Tyler Malone. The other path to first place for the Miners, 1 win against the Bucs and 1 loss for the Bucs to the Chinooks, as this one is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Bryce Tossan now 1 out away from getting the save.
Just a great pitch right there from Bryce. Totally out of the strike zone. Tried to get Malone fishing, and he did. So now the Bucs down to their final out. It's going to be tough as Bryce Tossand, he is on tonight.
Brennan Bro will now stand in at the plate for Bro. 0 for 3. Grounded out to first in the second. Struck out looking in the fourth and was a final strikeout for Ian Churchill in the seventh. First pitch swinging is Brennan Bro. He fouls it straight back and into the grandstands here at Mulcahy Stadium. 0-1 the counts to Brennan Bro. Tossand pitching from the windup. He's ready and deals. Another swing from Brennan Bro. The Anchorage Bucs are 1 strike away from losing today's game.
Bryce Tossand just has to keep this up, this great placement and mixing up of pitches. It's been wonderful.
No balls, 2 strikes and 2 outs. Miners 3, Bucs nothing. The pitch taken low in the turf for ball 1. For the Miners, 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors. For the Bucs, no runs, 3 hits, and no errors for themselves. Tossand's 1-2. The pitch taken in for a called strike, and the ball game is over. The Matsu Miners are victorious over the magic number is 1. The Miners 1 win away from clinching first place here in the 2018 Alaskan Baseball League season. Your final today, the Matsu Miners 3, the Anchorage Bucs nothing. For the Miners, 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors. For the Bucs, no runs on 3 hits. Ian Churchill pitched masterfully today. Went 7 innings, allowed 2 hits, no runs, got 2 walks, and struck out a season high for him, 11 batters. Bryce Tossand gets a 6-out save. As again, your final, the Matsu Miners 3, the Anchorage Bucs nothing. Brad, your thoughts on the game?
Well, I just thought it was wonderful pitching by the Miners tonight. Anytime you can go complete game shutout against whatever team, especially this being the second best hitting team in the ABL that put 8 runs on you last night, it showed that with a little bit of adversity, the Miners can pull through. The hitting, they did their job. 3 runs, it was all that needed. It was very timely, came in the important parts of the ball game in the middle and late situations. So you got to love that. The energy was there all night, which is really good. And the day off is well-deserved for the Matsu Miners.
It's a host family dinner tomorrow on Wednesday. Then it's back here at Mulcahy Stadium between the second-place Anchorage Bucs and the first-place Matsu Miners. Then the Miners have a couple exhibition games against the Anchorage Adult All-Stars and then the Fairbanks Gold Panthers. That's coming up next and later in the week. Once again, your final today, the Miners 3, the Bucs nothing. For Brad Walker, this is Connor Mills signing off.